I think I'm good.
Okay. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Hi, Bob.
Yeah, I don't think we've asked you about this, but Vito, I think, had 6 touchbacks on 7 kickoffs the other day. Just wonder what you thought about that and how big that could be in a game like Texas when they obviously have talented return guys.
Yeah, really, really important for him to continue to kick the ball like he has. I think he's averaging about 7 yards deep, and I believe he kicked one through the goalpost maybe the other night, and so very, very valuable. They have a very strong return game, both in kickoff and punt returns. And big wall return team, and we've got to kick it in the right spot, punt it in the right spot, and also get our guys in the wall.
Thanks.
Sam, I was wondering how John Ridgway's looked in practice this week, and has it surprised you at all how quickly he's come back from his deal?
Well, he's looked great. He practiced Monday, he practiced Tuesday. I'm not a doctor, so I really don't know how long it takes to come back from that surgery, but I do know that we were anticipating 2 weeks, Andrew, and it's going to be less. It's going to be 1 week. So he's a tough guy and doesn't seem to be having any pain from it at all. And after practice.
Trey.
Hey, Coach. I was curious after the block punt and everything. What was the what did you guys do about special teams? How did you guys approach getting that fixed and just stressing the importance of it overall?
Well, I think we have to, we have to simplify and make sure we all know what we're doing. That's not the problem, Trey. We just didn't block out on a guy that we do. We read the demeanor of the guy instead of making sure that we blocked him until we were sure that he wasn't. It wasn't a blitz. It wasn't. Excuse me. They weren't trying to block the punt or anything. We just let a guy go, and so that's something that certainly is easy fix and should have been fixed before we went in there, and was fixed every time we did it in practice. So all I ask God to do is make sure that we're simple enough where the kids know how to execute it, and I believe that plan is there. And certainly we have to win special teams, and you talk about it all the time, but we really haven't done that. And even though we came in and little tied the game with a field goal, we did have a 42-yard kick return. But you can't win games blocking punts usually. They're getting them blocked.
Tom.
Sam, is there anything to building a team for, like building an SEC team or building a Big 12 team, or how do you view Texas? What kind of team are they?
Well, they're well over 300 pounds on the offensive line. They've got a 350-pound nose guard. I think they're built for speed. They have a very fast team. So does SEC, but SEC teams seem to be go a little bit bigger, even though Texas, when they roll in here, they're going to look like a major college football team, just like any team that you'd play in the SEC. But, I believe there's probably quite a bit more throwing in the Big 12 than what there would be in the SEC, even though our league's going that way a little bit more. So I think Texas matches up size-wise, certainly talent-wise, to the schools in our league.
Texas won its time of possession pretty handily last week. What do you see from them from a ball control standpoint, and maybe how could having a deeper D line impact that for you guys?
Coach Sark would have to answer that question about what he decides to do. But here's what I do know, that Coach Odom and myself were both not surprised, but we were, they got a lead and they turned around and handed the ball off. And, when the game was over 2 scores, they just tried to pound the football. And so, I think he's just going to do whatever he needs to do to win the game, but I don't know if time of possession. I think time of possession happened because the team behind was not making first downs and throwing it all the time. And then Texas turned around, hand the ball off and milked the clock on it before snapping it.
How do you feel about your pass game being able to maybe balance things up for you a little bit more this week compared to last?
I hope it's much better. We certainly have worked on it. You know, we need our good players to play good. I mean, that's any team, but you know, I think our receivers will show up better. I think, you know, obviously with KJ, we had 3 or 4 drops there that we had a penalty on a lineman downfield that negated a big gain for us. So we got to get away from those things. We got to quit hurting ourselves and dropping passes and having penalties. And that's coaching as well. And, you know, certainly all of us in the building have tried to figure out that situation. I think we'll be much better Saturday.
Nate.
Sam, defensively, what kind of problems does Texas present?
They have linebackers that are very physical. 47 runs downhill. Brockmeyer, he tries to steal gaps. You've got to be aware of that. 0 Overshown can fly, but they have a nice sized D line. I really like 18. He's a good edge rusher. He transferred it from Notre Dame. I don't want to disrespect him by trying to say his last name because I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but he's a really, really good player and a good pass rusher. Secondary wise, you know, Jameson back and Foster. And I mean, they've got some good players back there. So they're not, you know, unless he surprises us in what we think he's going to do, they're not a huge blitz team. They may become one. I look for them to play us a little tighter than maybe what they did Louisiana simply because of KJ's ability to run. So we'll find out.
Scotty.
Coach, I asked Tyson Morris last night about Keitron Jackson's debut, and he said he really liked the physicality that he played with. I'm curious if that kind of play can, you know, help his role grow, you know, early on in his career.
I believe it can. I really like him. You know, he made a nice catch in the game. He's big, he's physical, he can run too. And I think he's just only going to get better each and every week. But I believe in him. I trust him. Certainly on the touchdown run of KJ's, that was a bang call, but he was out there fighting and doing what he was coached and tried to keep his hands inside and those things. But he's a physical guy.
You talked about John Ridgway a little bit earlier. What kind of kid is he, you know, in the interactions that you've had with him?
He's hilarious. I mean, he's got a great sense of humor. The kids love him. Hard-working kid. You know, he was state champion wrestler, so you know those guys at wrestling, they're tough and physical guys. And I mean, he's a great addition to the team, both on and off the field. But you know, he got that quick twitch from, I'm gonna say, from his wrestling background, and big guy and very well liked by me, us, the staff, and the team.
No one questions. Dre.
Hey, Coach, I was curious if we might see anybody that we didn't see last time, aside from guys that had health issues or injuries, maybe like AJ Green, Bryce Stevens, any of those guys maybe factoring into the plan this week.
Well, we certainly have tried to ramp up AJ Green's reps this week. You know, he offers something, a little bit of a combination of all the guys. You know, has good speed. You know, he's a 200-pound guy. We have tried to amp him up a little bit. But other than that, I really can't. You know, we have a punting battle with Bauer and Loy. Other than that, I really can't think of anybody new that you'd be going, okay, let's look out for him. Nothing I can think off the top of my head.
Tom.
Hey, Sam, you mentioned the downfield, lineman downfield. is that a separate penalty than what we thought Davion Warren had gone out of bounds and came back and was the first guy to touch? Were those the same?
No,
play or
that was the
different?
same play. That's the same play. Our center was right at 3 yards and we got the penalty call, but that was the same play.
Oh, so Davion wasn't penalized for going out of bounds then, or there was?
No.
Okay.
That was on Ricky.
Okay.
Ricky, and let me say, Ricky's just doing as he's coached. I mean, it was on him though.
All right, any more questions? All right, I'll wrap this up. Thanks, guys.
See y'all.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.